been credited as somebody who does multiple things really well. That's something which kind of often, people oftentimes tell that about me, and it's a fantastic thing, and sometimes I start believing myself that I do a lot of things. But the reality is, I am much like most of the people that I meet every day, like the true average of this country. Like, I'm a huge fan of the average, because I think the average is what drives this country. You of course need the exceptionally talented people to do certain very specific things, but for most of it, I think it's the average person that drives this country. So I'm a proud representative of the average. So if anybody that believes you are average, I'm a proud representative of the average. I do work as a designer at Snapdeal, and I also play with my band. But today I just wanted to kind of stretch a little bit on that topic and try and speak about something very personal to me. This is not something which I've really spoken about often in public. So this is the first time I thought it was an important anecdote to share, and that would take me the 14-15 minutes that I have with you guys and not longer. I'm not a very serious person, even though what I'm going to speak has, in certain sense, some amount of seriousness to it, but I'll try to keep it as funny as possible. I oftentimes wonder, what is that one thing that almost always challenges you when you're trying to do multiple things? Have you ever wondered what that is? Time is one. Sometimes it's the people that you meet. It sometimes could be your parents, sometimes your family, sometimes the people in your surroundings. But certain things that kind of happened in the past few years has kind of told me a very interesting point. I've come to a very interesting realization. The biggest factor that actually stops you or oftentimes challenges you from doing what you want to do is yourself. So as you would know, I'm a musician, and these kind of lights make me extremely excited. So I am somebody that revels in this light. Feel extremely excited about being in this spotlight till December 2014. And then something very, very, very life-altering happened to me, and I want to tell that to you guys. What are you the most afraid of in your life? Anybody? Failure? Something else? Being disabled. Being disabled? What's that? Death. So, oftentimes, none of us think about dying. It's a weird thought. Nobody wants to die. All of us are going to die, but we don't want to die. And most of us live as if we will never die. But then something happens to you, and you realize you're going to die. What would happen? I have no idea. But this is what happened. So I was playing with my band Agam at this beautiful college called KMCT Polytechnic in Calicut in Kerala. It's a fantastic audience. I had about 2,500 people listening to my music, like loud, this extreme cheer, and I'm feeling on top of the world, right? Roughly about 30 minutes into my show, I just felt I'm not having enough breath. You know what that feels like? When you run a lot, you feel that you don't have enough breath. I felt I don't have enough breath, and oftentimes you will believe that you don't have enough breath because you don't have enough breath. You're singing and doing stuff. 15 more minutes down, I don't have enough breath at all. 5 more minutes, I stop singing and I fall down. This happened to me. And everybody thought Harish has been jumping around too much. And he's dehydrated. Right? So they put me in a car and took me to the nearest hospital, saying there's this guy who has been singing and he's dehydrated. Long story short, I was not dehydrating. I had a heart attack. That's a good proof that I have a heart. But yes, I had a heart attack, a pretty massive one. And you know what's funny about this whole episode? Okay, I'm alive to tell the story, okay? Please don't give that face. This is not my ghost talking, I'm alive. So I did have a heart attack, and the doctor was a kick-ass dude. So the kick-ass doctor put 2 stents into my body. You know what that is? It removes the block from your arteries. And then you're back up again. And then you're back up. So I am back up in 5 days flat. I'm out of the hospital. What happened after that is interesting. I was 34 years old, which makes me 36-year-old right now. I was a father of a 2.5-year-old child, a girl child, a beautiful girl, Shreya, God bless her, and husband to a beautiful lady, and a son to two beautiful parents. And this happens to me at 34. It's a weird place to be, because now you are conspiring against yourself in everything that you believed in that you can do. Harish used to work in a software company as a design manager. He was a musician. He was traveling from one city to the other. He literally used to jump on stage while thinking that he is singing. He's actually just jumping. But now you just died, right? You almost died. And somebody just recovered you back. And then what happens to you? This is my story. But I came out of that incident, and 20 days from then, I had to go to IIT Chennai to play at Sarang. Sarang is a kick-ass festival. 5,000 people. Massive audience, beautiful sound system, great lights. So I have told to myself that I'm fine, much the way I'm telling you guys that I'm fine right now. I told myself I was fine. I still remember walking up to IIT Sarang stage. I was fine. Then I had the lights switch on me. Much like this. I just thought I was going to die again. That's what happens to you, because that's what happened to me. I was singing and I collapsed. So every time the light switched on me, I thought I was going to collapse. Now, two things I learned from that instance. One is, you got to do what you got to do. Because if I thought I was going to die again, I wouldn't be here today, speaking to you guys. I would have been sitting at home. I would have checked my pulse every second, wondering if I'm going to die the next minute, right? Or get generally petrified in life. Every time you have you eat a shawarma, somebody got me a shawarma, and you have gas, and it presses your chest, you feel you're going to have a heart attack again. It's natural. Somebody just asked, I read on the internet, whatever I see, and I feel like I have that symptom. Every moment I think I have all those symptoms, and I have even more reasons to believe I have those symptoms. Trust me, that's ridiculous. See, everybody thought, each one of us just thought that we're going to die the next minute. Then there will be no innovation here. You will all be sitting at home or probably at a hospital paying a lot of money to your doctor to keep yourself awake and alive today. Why are you all here? Don't you all believe that you will be alive today? How many of you think you won't be alive today? Nobody. How many of you think you will be alive today? See, that's fantastic. All of us, at least in the heart of heart, think that we will be alive today. So my biggest learning from what happened to me is that multitasking is nothing. Each one of you who are here are actually multitasking because there is something else that you could have done at this moment. You could have been with your family. You could have probably gone to the library and read a book. I don't know who the hell does that, but anyways. But nevertheless, so what happened to me when I went through what is called as a near-death experience or a life-altering experience, it made me a different person. That's the story I want to tell you in the next few minutes. One is, it is okay to be afraid. Who is afraid here? You're all engineering students. There are multiple things that we're afraid about. Am I going to make a job? Is my first boss going to be a nice person? Is my crush going to say yes? Is my girlfriend going to turn out to be the same person? Or is my boyfriend going to turn out to be the same person after I meet him 4 years later? So there are tons of things that we are afraid and worried about. It's all right to be scared. I'm very scared. That's the first thing I learned. The second one is, it's all right if you are not able to do what you want to do today. Just ensure that you do that tomorrow. Like, I know tons of people that say, hey, I play the guitar. Or like, I am a painter. Or I am a stand-up comedian. Or I am a good cook, but I'm going to finish engineering. I'm going to land a job. And then I'm going to cook like there's no tomorrow. Please, chief, you won't be able to cook. Not even for your wife. So if you want to do something, if you're not able to do something today, please have an open mind and try doing that tomorrow. If you can't do that tomorrow, do that day after. Because trust me, crazy, you only live once. Only when you know that you could die now, would you know the value of wanting to do something today. So the third point is, it's all right if you are not able to meet your own set high standards for something that you want to do. So for instance, after I came back from my own ailment, I was singing pretty terrible. For two reasons. One is I'm afraid, right? I should not exert too much, or I should probably kind of go a little easy. Everybody around me is telling, it's all right. Don't stop doing what you're doing. And trust me, this is not about how you can die and come back. I mean, something which is like a simpler life event also can kind of translate into this. Like you flunk an exam. Who flunked an exam? Yeah, a lot of people flunked an exam. So don't worry. The next day you can try better. So I mean, the larger point is keep trying. You would do worse after something changes in your life. It's all right. The fourth point is don't listen to anyone. The first doctor I met told that I'll never be able to sing again. Word. He just said that I'm 34 and I have like really, really, really bad genetics. That's the only reason why I would have ended up in whatever. And I'm singing. I have done 111 concerts after that. Nobody ever does many things together. If anybody told he or she is doing that, he's lying. To a lot of people, I say that I am this genius individual who is actually doing several things together because it helps me. See, I'm a very materialistic person, and if there is money to be made, I'll make it. If there is fame to be made, I'll make it. If there is general attention to be made, I'll make it. So I'm happy to do all the three, but in reality, since we are like a small gathering here, I just want to say that nobody really does multiple things together. People only do multiple things at multiple points in time. It's very important to know that. So when you have the ability to do multiple things at multiple points in time in your life, what the hell, go ahead, do it. So when I am working at Snapdeal, trying to fix the design, trust on God, I am not singing with Agam. The day I do that, I am a true multitasker. Like, I am at two places at the same time. Like, I am on the mic while answering emails. That's when I'm truly multitasking. So nobody really does that. So just get out of the state of mind that, oh, it's crazy. How do you manage 10 things together? I think I've said it in one of my other talks. The only person that I've seen doing multiple things together in recent times is my wife. Because my wife is attending a call from the US and my daughter breaks a bottle of water on her face and she just wipes her face and continues typing. I think moms do that. I have not seen anybody else like truly multitasking. So multitasking is a myth. Like, no, you don't have to multitask. If you're passionate about something, pursue it. If there is a word from your dictionary that you can take away, like, probably bury that word and never say this again, is the word that's called hobby. Hobby is the most overrated thing in the world because hobby is something that you do when you have free time. That's almost like saying, I have no time anyway, so whenever I have time. So unless your passion is stamp collection, no offense, 90% of the people that say my hobby is stamp collection don't have a hobby. So 10% do, who are like pretty kick-ass at that. So if you're that 10%, do it. But if you're the 90%, reconsider. Even versus Matchbox covers. Some guy told me in college, I collect Matchbox covers. God bless his soul. But yeah, so try to pursue things as if your life depended on them, because hobbies are not pursued like that. Which is why most of Indian parents say that, oh, I stopped sending my daughter to music classes because it's 10th standard. Then you didn't really care about the music. Am I not right? If you really cared about the music, 10th standard shouldn't have mattered. Are you practicing music anymore? No, I'm focusing on my engineering. After you finish engineering, you'll focus on something else. Your music is dead. I used to be an athlete. I used to work out every day morning. Now I'm not because I have to get to my 8 o'clock lecture. If you really cared, you would have woken up at 5 o'clock and run. And not said, I'm going to go for 8 o'clock. So only hobbies suck. So don't ever get stuck in hobbies because hobbies are not going to help you. If you feel passionate about something, pursue that thing. It's okay, you'll fail. You'll never make it. It's fine. Nobody cares. Nobody knew you had that passion unless and until somebody told you. If I didn't have the right sense of timing, and if I didn't end up in the right place at the right time, I wouldn't be standing here saying that I'm a musician. I would have been an average IT guy, which I am. I would have been just that. So I am not here to tell you guys that I could do a lot just because I had some certain magic which I kind of always held by my side to kind of get to a point. No, I just had the luck of timing. Each one of you will have that day of luck of timing if you pursued it. Like if you're not getting it today, you'll get it tomorrow. But please don't stop doing what you're doing. And please never, ever push any of the items that you're passionate about into the hobby bucket. I humbly request you, don't do that, because hobbies won't help you. Have a perspective. My professor in chemical engineering, I've been in touch, God bless him, told him I will never amount to anything. Because I made DDDECE in my chemical engineering. You know how much GPA will that work out to? Do the math. It's less than 5. I can't save my life with heat transfer operations. Anybody in chemical engineering here? God bless your soul too. Yes. My professor was correct. I wouldn't have amounted to anything if I pursued chemical engineering. Neither do I have the taste, nor the ability, nor the intellectual capacity to watch a kettle worth of water evaporate and calculate why it happened. I can't. I still remember in one course there was an equation where we had run out of English alphabets and Greek alphabets so that we had a variable called AB. So yeah, so my perspective was that this game is not for me. So I quicker than later gave up on that and did something else. And that something else one thing led to the other, and the other thing led to the other. And it took me to being an engineer, compiler engineer, a front-end engineer, designer, half musician to quarter musician to musician, to whatever happened to me, to whatever I'm telling you today. I think it's a short but interesting journey that I have been through. So thank you. So all I'm trying to say as my closing note is that have a perspective. 90% of people around you are going to disagree with your perspective. Please don't trade your perspective for somebody else's opinion. Please don't do that. A lot of people my generation have done that, and it has taken a lot longer for us to actually have our perspective. At 21, you guys have a beautiful opportunity to have a perspective that's entirely your own, and you're your own master. I'll tell you, you can fail at 35. Nobody's going to say anything. We are fine. So have a perspective. Secondly, the worst that can happen to you, trust me, failure is nothing. Please fail 100 times. The worst that can happen to you is when you cease to exist. When you yourself are not there, you can't do shit, right? So that happened to me. I could have not existed. And trust me, nothing happened. Okay, I could have died and I didn't die and I'm back and it's just fine. So anything that's going to happen to you, touch wood, can't be worse than that.